Hi, everyone. It is Oracle Live TV, and I'm your host, Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose, and it feels like it's spooky Halloween style, right? So we're live tonight, and I'm calling in from San Jose, California, and it's just a little dark in this room, so I'm doing my best to keep you guys all informed. Don't adjust your television sets. This is how it is tonight. So thanks so much for being here. I'm really excited for my guest tonight. We have a jam-packed show. So we'll do our best, I promise, to get questions in if they come. So you guys, if you want to ask a question of the Oracle, you know what to do. And if you don't, I'm going to tell you. The first thing to do if you want to join in and share a question is to actually put on the screen in the comments the word Q&A and then ask a question. So you can do that at any time. So just so you know, if you want to go ahead and ask a question to Oracle, at the end of the show, we'll do our best to get as many questions in as possible. So you can just put Q&A, ask your question, and at the end of the show, I'll run through those as much as I can, and we'll try and get as many people in as possible. Now, tonight, we have so many guests, and I really want you to stay on board because there are some phenomenal women coming up. The first guest that I have tonight is someone that's really dear to my heart. We've worked together before, and she's working on a project right now that is really going to change the face of education and the lives of children and young adults everywhere. So I am, like I said, I'm Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose. This is Oracle Live TV, and the reason we created this program is so that great, phenomenal entrepreneurs and light-bearing leaders can get out there and get their message out there and reach more people. And also so that they can get support from the Oracle for any kind of hangups or issues or questions, or perhaps even signs that they're looking for about what to do next. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. And if you want, you can actually share comments underneath this. If you're watching this in a watch party, please, please, please hop into the link that's under the watch party comments, and you'll be able to be in the room, and that's how we can see your questions. Otherwise, we can't see them. So just a heads up, PSA, if you want to ask a question of the Oracle or you want to have a comment that we can see, you have to be in the room. All right, that's enough for me. We got so many people here tonight. We're just going to jump right in. So thanks to everybody who's watching. Thanks to those of you who are watching the replay. Tonight's first guest, like I said, is a woman who has really reached into her bag of tricks, her lifelong love of learning and of doing things different, and understanding that not all people are the same, but every one of us is important and is here on purpose. So that's why I'm excited to have her as my guest. Welcome to the show. Our first guest, her name is Pam Baker. Pam is going to be coming on the screen here in just a moment. And Pam, when you get on here, I really want you to tell us your story and why Journeous. Here she comes. Thanks so much for being here, Pam. Hi. Oh no, we can't hear Pam. So everybody knows we're just having a moment.
Will this work
there you go. She's here.
Is that any better?
Perfect.
Okay, great. We'll ditch the earphones then. That's easier. So thank you so much. It's a total treat to be here with you and everyone here tonight and on replays. Journeous started a couple of years ago, and the name is a mashup of two words that fundamentally believe are what it's all about: making a career and a life that fits you, which are journey, and it very much is a journey. And making the most of it is really staying curious along the way. And so our focus at Journeous is making career launches better. That's what we're all about. And much of the work that we do is in that initial career launch. And then we also work with folks in later, 5th and 7th and 12th career launches as well. My story occurred a few years ago when I was sitting in a leadership conference, and the facilitator asked the very first question, which was supposed to be kind of this warm up. And she said, "What is your mission?" And everybody had little 3x5 index cards, and we were supposed to write down our mission in like 2 minutes and then talk to the person next to us. And I vividly recall people on either side of me, on the right and the left, kind of scribbling away, and I was staring straight ahead. And I thought, I don't know what my mission is. So at the time I was working in healthcare. I had worked in healthcare my whole career and worked at great companies and had really interesting jobs. And at the time I was working in healthcare consulting. And I thought, I know I can't put that on my little 3x5 card. That is not gonna work. And it took me more than a year actually to answer the question. Apparently I'm a pretty slow learner. And it came when I was watching my twin daughters. And I have one daughter for whom she is this kind of creative, imaginative kid. She's up for sort of trying whatever comes her way. And she's never worried about if she's going to be good at it or not. And I've got her sister who is this sort of diligent, hardworking kid who just wants to make sure that she does things right. And she looks to the folks around her for guidance about what she, quote unquote, should do. And what I finally realized when I really thought about it was that I had both sides of those kids when I was young. And what was valued in our family was doing well in school and getting good grades. And so that's the part I built out. And I took that Kylie side of me and I really put that under wraps. And what I realized from both of them, they both come to situations so incredibly differently. And they're so complementary and wonderful to see how each of them comes at the world and life. And what I know about each of them is what each of them brings to the world really matters. And I don't know that kids necessarily get that message if they're not learning and doing things in the traditional way. And in fact, I actually know that many of them get the message that that is not okay. And that's part of the message that I got. With my parents being well-meaning, but it's just, do it the right way. And so our focus is how do we support each person in launching a career that fits for them and know themselves well enough so that as they step onto that treadmill of life, that they do it with a solid understanding of who they are and what matters to them. So it's been an awesome journey and lots of, as you say, learnings along the way.
Well, I think that's great. Oh, and I'm going to ask you to mute yourself since you're on your laptop. I was just going to say, though, that it's really great because I think that we were literally just talking about the fact that in some classrooms, the idea of doing things differently and being different and having different energy and different styles is not really fostered even now. I mean, we think that education should have moved the needle at some point a long time ago, and yet that's not the case. So can you tell me, how does Journeous play into the classroom model? I know you mentioned something that you guys are up to now with the communication piece. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so this adaptive communication is something, honestly, that I sort of fell into watching my own daughter and how her experience was in the classroom. And one of my colleagues shared with me a bit about the basis is the science of communication. And the short story is that each of us use one of 6 what are referred to as channels as to how we communicate. And there are different ways that each of us communicate, learn, get motivated, and how distress shows up for each of us. And when you know that, you are able to actually connect and communicate with all the people around you. And that's true for teachers, it's true for leaders, it's true for parents. And so one of the things that we've been doing, the model that we use gained lots of popularity in the National Dropout Prevention Network. And it was used to actually prevent the students who tend to drop out from doing so. And it's not because they're not smart. It's not because they're not motivated. It's because they're not being communicated in a way that really meets them where they are. And we've been going out and doing training of superintendents and teachers. And what we are hearing and seeing is it's game changing. I was sharing that one of my colleagues met with one of the superintendents whose teachers were trained. And he said, In 25 years of education, I have never had teachers who have asked for more professional development. They are so loving this and what it is helping them do, because these are teachers who are incredibly dedicated to the kids in their classrooms, and they want to be able to make the most of each of those individuals. And this is helping them get the tools to connect the dots as to how. And we're so excited about the impact that we're having, the feedback that we're getting from teachers, and what we're seeing is changing in terms of the interaction between the teachers and the kids in their classroom.
That's great. And tell me, now, I know that this started at the college level, and that you are not just, as you were saying, like it's not just about a career program, but that you've created really basically 3 columns of support for people to move forward in this career launch. And talk a little bit more about all those different aspects. Like obviously the communication model is one piece. What are some of the things you guys do to help support that?
Yeah, so we do a few things. We do a number of in-person workshops, which can be standalone. They can also be integrated into class curriculum, and they can cover any range of topics. So we really focus on, as you think about understanding yourself and how you align that with your career, it's not necessarily just what you're good at or just what you enjoy doing or just what aligns with your values. We focus very much on where is that intersection of that Venn diagram between the 3. And so we'll do some workshops around how do you begin to identify what some of those values, interests, and skills are. Where have they shown up? Where are you liking the way that they're showing up, and where might you want to perhaps shift and pivot? We'll work with folks who are in internships and help them identify, okay, so what are the experiences that have been really positive, which less so? And then let's begin to unpack kind of the why behind that. Largely because, of course, jobs are changing so fast. To focus our students on what am I going to do next serves them for the next year or two, but it doesn't serve them 10 and 20 and 30 years down the line. And that's very much our focus. We also do some really neat pieces around storytelling. One of the things, I do a lot of mentoring and working with folks at all different levels of education. And I find that, the tendency is to come in and I'm going to take you through all the bullet points on my resume. But what I really want to know is, who are you? How can you capture who you are in a way that really connects with me, that captivates me? And we use a really simple framework to do so. And it's really powerful when people say, oh, yeah, I can actually deliver that in about 1.5 minutes. That's pretty easy. As opposed to the 6 or 8 minute laundry list where you've lost me by the 3rd bullet. So those are a couple examples of the different ways that we do it. And then we also have a suite of one-on-one coaches who do individual coaching with our students, and students go through a series of questions online to prepare, kind of get them in the right headspace, as well as the coach give them enough background, and they have an hour-long conversation to help them make sense of, what do I do based on what I know around my values, interests, and skills, and what might that mean in terms of connecting me to my next step? And you across the board, students walk away having come in with one perspective about, this is what I want to do, and walk out saying, oh, wait, I don't just have to do the most popular job that I've heard of marketing or advertising or PR. Not that there's anything wrong with any of those, but what they discover is how they can connect what really lights them up to perhaps what they know they're already good at, to what they really care about. And that, when students realize that they can do that, whew, it is powerful to see.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like, that's for them, is to have that additional framework and an outside perspective of something that they've probably, sometimes it sounds like, not even considered before as options to what they were doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So do you feel like that's a big piece of like what makes you and Journeous different?
I do. I think many folks are coming in with an idea of, this is the thing I'm supposed to do because it's the job that I've heard of. It's the job my parents know about. It's the job that is the logical one based on the major I'm choosing. And the reality is, my personal perspective is majors generally don't mean all that much until you get really technical in the type of kind of more apprenticeship type of work. The reality is most majors can run across any array of different types of jobs. And when folks realize that they can kind of free themselves up from this laser focus that they've had and open themselves up to different ways of thinking about careers and how to navigate to them and learn more, it has this very different experience than what many folks have when they go in and say, review my resume or look at my cover letter, very much kind of the blocking and tackling. It really allows them to go far deeper with greater insight, and they walk away really with a better sense of who they are and what matters to them.
I love it. So where are you now with Journeous? Like, what's the next big thing, and how can the Oracle help you move you forward? And what kind of project or next steps are you guys working on to kind of get this on the road?
Yeah. So we have had some great success with a number of clients in education, nonprofits, organizations. And where we're seeing a real need right now is particularly in the K-12 space and to some degree in higher ed. Generating some grants to support what we do. And so we have a number of K-12 districts that have come to us and said, boy, if we had the money to do this, we absolutely would want to in a heartbeat. And so one of our with some foundations and grant makers to bring in those resources just to benefit the schools. We've initiated a whole study to track our impact so that we'll be able to see what the effects are and where and continue to tweak, because there is no doubt that the impact is significant. And once we have the data to support it, I know that we'll be able to change how education does what it does. And so right now it's just getting some of the grants and support to be able to do that on a bigger scale.
That's awesome. So tell me, what question would you have tonight that you haven't already asked for the Oracle in regards to funding or for what's next for Journeous? What would your question be?
Yeah, I think for the Oracle, what I'd love to know is if there are, what should our next steps be as we think about this, pulling in some of the resources to get us to that next level around grants and investments. There are lots of different ways that we can go, but I know the Oracle has far more wisdom than any of us do. And so perspective on, what she sees as this is the very hot red path that you should step on first, and maybe the other ones still step on, but may not be at the top of the list.
Right. That's a great question. And the first thing that comes to me is the idea that the grants piece is important, and it's going to be a long-term impact on Journeous, and also like how far you can go. But there's money closer to home that can come in, and I know we've talked about that in the past, but I think that this is the piece of the things you're looking at. That's the next step. It's soft entry to starting the conversation about investing and funding through close contacts. So that's okay. Your first piece, and then it's almost like the grants are going to be a continual process from here on out. Like it's going to be a part of what Journeous does, which I think is great because, of course, that just allows you to reach so many more people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Message and mission out there. But right now, as far as what is the A and B of it, A is cash money in the bank from real investors that have a stake in seeing Journeous succeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So start close to home.
Start close to home and work your way out. And it's interesting in starting close to home and working way out, there is also this piece of um, participation. So there's someone in that realm of wanting to invest that might be more participatory. So I would look at that as she's saying that this is a person who, it's less of a hands-off investor and more of someone who has some desire to be involved.
Huh. Okay.
I don't know if that's like a board related something, but there's some sort of, it's like, I just see that person, being closer to home and involved. So,
right.
Yeah, which is, I think for you, it's a great way for you to actually have a piece of your team involved in this in a way that would give you not only the financial boost, but also just that additional, connection with a partner who's literally invested in the success of Journeous.
Yeah, awesome. Can we tell if it's somebody that's already involved or is it outside?
Well, it's funny. That's a great question. Great follow-up question. Because I was checking. I'm like, I wonder if it's somebody that's already, on your team. It feels like it's not yet.
Okay.
Actually, I was just looking at. I was cruising through a couple of people that I know of. So at least not anybody I know, in your team. No one yet.
Okay.
So, but will be. Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Great.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for sharing your story of Journeous. I want to make sure that everybody gets this so that they can take advantage of it if they want to find out more and find out either more about how you can support Journeous or get Journeous in your school or in your organization. Please, the link is scrolling on the bottom here. It's journeous.com. Jour, sorry, Neous, so Journeous. And Pam is really great to work with. So if you are interested in just having a conversation, I know that she's open to like communicating with people. Follow her on LinkedIn, stalk her people. She's really good at connecting. And so if it's not a good fit, I know that she'll point you in the right direction. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a treat to be here, Leah. Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Our next guest here, I'm going to bring up in a moment. Let's see if I can get rid of all these things at once. not break our computers. All right. Been having technical difficulties tonight. So, all right. Let's see if we've done it. We've done it. Yes. Okay, great. So thank you all for being patient. I am getting ready to bring our next guest on. But before I do, I want to go ahead and just share with all of you that this opportunity to be on Oracle Live TV, to ask your question, to share your message and what you're doing in the world, it's here for everyone. It's really designed, the program itself is designed so that we can help promote people that are actually out making a difference and creating products or services that are making a difference in the world. Our world today is bursting with light-bearing leaders who are moving out into light, sharing their message, and it's because we need it. The Oracle made it very clear to me when I started this program that I'm here to hold space for that. I'm here to give voice to it. I'm here to share messages that people can really get their message out, and so that they can actually have an impact that they're meant to have. So if that's you, and if you hear me or someone you know, and you're like, yes, I know exactly who needs to be here to share their message, then I would love to have you send them our way. And it's really easy. All they have to do is just go to bit.ly /OLTV-guest, which is right here. I can put that back up on the screen for you as well. And once you go here, there's just a quick form to fill out. I know that many people have shows and there are fees and things like that to be on the show or to share what you're doing. We don't do that here. Like I said, this is my service to the world to help people understand all of the great things that are happening, right? Considered a little good news for the night. And so if you know somebody that would like to be a guest, if you'd like to be a guest, all you need to do is go right there. There you go. To bit.ly/OLTV-guest. And you can fill it out. And really, that's as simple as it is. We'll figure out a space and time for you to be on the show. I know that there's still time to get in before the end of the year, and then we'll be looking at January and on, but please feel free to share. I have our next guest coming on in just a moment, but I see that I don't see her in the view, and we don't want to bring her on if she's not actually on the screen. So let me just get another message out really quick to her and see if she can pop in, and then we will get her back on the screen. But the other thing I wanted to share tonight was that if you are someone who, like Pam was saying, went to school, was told you were supposed to be one thing, but somehow inside of you and you're doing your work, you feel like this isn't really what I'm supposed to be doing, but you're not sure what you need to be doing, then I have an offer for you. If you would like, you can join us next Monday, October 21st. And on October 21st, we're going to be starting a new challenge called Find Your Business Sweet Spot. And we're talking all about how to figure out what are those key components. What is that unique thing about you that adds with your business genius to create a business sweet spot? In other words, a place where you can actually do what you love, make money, and fulfill what you were meant to do when you were born. Sound simple? So if you want to join us there, come on over to Oracle Live TV and or to Coach Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose on Facebook. You can put in the links there and you can go ahead and sign up. It's totally free. It's a 5-day challenge, and we're going to walk you step by step through the process of figuring this out. This is something that I do with my clients, just so you know. It's something I do with my clients on our VIP days when we actually meet. We have a mastermind day for a whole day. And I've had clients that have spent thousands of dollars just to figure out like what their niche is or what their purpose is or what their focus should be or what their business genius is. We're doing all of that in one process together that you can walk through step by step and little bite steps so that you can really dive in and figure it out and have a really clear idea when you're done how that applies not only to your life but to your business so that you can actually create better results, up-level your business, streamline things based on that sweet spot. So if that's you and you are out there going, man, I would love to know, then please join us. Actually, I'm going to put the link. I am. I'm going to put the link in the comments because we can do that. So let me go over here and I will get that on the screen. And if you've got any questions about that or any questions for me, you can share them here. Let me get this out for you guys. So like I said, it is Find Your Business Sweet Spot is the name of the challenge. And I'm going to go into Facebook, so I hope I don't lose you guys. Stay with me. And let's get this link for you guys. So yeah, other things I can tell you about the challenge. Oh, the challenge is for you. So if you are like an entrepreneur or a business leader and you're really conscious about wanting to really align with your purpose. So that I want to make clear. It's not just if you are not really interested in your only idea is like, how do I increase my bottom line no matter what? It's great to do that as well. But we're really talking about how do you do it in a way that is aligned with who you were born to be. And that to me makes all of our business decisions and all of our business choices better. So with that in mind, I'm going to get you that link right now. I think I'm looking for it. Sorry. And then I'm going to go back to our next guest who hopefully is in the room. And if you have any questions, like I said, and you just joined us or you're watching from a watch party, please make sure you click on the link under the watch party so that you can actually get into the room, okay? And that way you can ask questions, you can share your comments. In fact, I saw, just so you guys know, I saw Mac Higgins has been sharing some comments. Oh, Mac was saying, by the way, Pam, Mac is commenting on some of the things you said. He said that He bet the K-12 will be so good, and he's looking to build a strong, loyal team who will have fun. I think I missed something. So definitely check out the comments. Awesome. And he's looking at doing some work that he can bring his work ethic. I love it. Yeah, and that is definitely a part of it. I think that's something that, Pam was saying as well. Like we want to do work, that is it that we're fit for, obviously, but also that we are fulfilled in, right? That really helps us to feel like we're making a difference. And that's not always the case when we start into school, or even, my own son, by the way, is, just 7. And he's really having a hard time this year with his schooling because of the way that the classroom's set up. And it's really been interesting to watch him navigate that, and for us to navigate that for him, and let him know what, we really feel is important is that he is actually learning in a way that gives him what he needs to really get that done. So that's why I think it's important that we share people that are doing work like Pam. That's why I think it's important that I offer that challenge, because I want people to feel like they are doing what they're meant to be doing. And with that, speaking of people who are meant to be doing what they're meant to be doing, I'm going to go to our next guest. Hopefully she'll be able to, I'm not seeing her on my side, so I'm hoping that once I pull her up, she might actually show up. So we'll see if that works. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and kids are different now. Yes, they are different now. That's for sure. All right. So let's see here. Micaela, I'm hoping that once I push this button, you will be here, because I don't see you right now. But let's see if that's changed once you get on the screen. Let's see. All right. Oh, no. Okay, we've lost Micaela. So unfortunately, our guest tonight, our other guest, Micaela, is actually having, looks like, some technical difficulties with her camera. So I would love for Micaela, if you're watching this and you can hear me, love for you to hop back out and back in again, and maybe that will fix it. Otherwise, we're going to move on from here and finish up the call and move on to any questions. I don't know if Mac has any questions. And if not, then we will finish the call for tonight, and we will see you next week with our next guest. So I'm going to put Micaela back down. Oh,
I'm here.
I hear you, but I can't see you.
I see myself on here. I've been here the whole time.
Oh, wow. It's so odd. I like, we're just getting a blank box. You want to hop back out and hop back in again on the Be Live?
I did. I just did it again.
Oh, I hear you now, but I can't see you. So try on the picture of yourself. Is your little video camera open?
I don't see the video.
It should be like down in the, yeah. Do you see my picture?
No, I don't see you. I haven't seen you or the other lady the whole time.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I think it might be, I think we're figuring out it might be your browser that you were having problems with earlier.
Well, I changed it. It's now in Safari. So that was Firefox. Now I'm on Safari. So.
Well, I'm sorry I can't see you. That is such a bummer. Let me see if I'm trying to think who is, let's see. If I do it in the message, maybe that'll change. I can see you. Oh, you can see me. Awesome. Okay. Okay, weird. Let's try one thing. I'm going to kick you out and then back on. Let's see if that fixes it. It's like engineering, right? Everybody out, everybody back in.
But I don't know what the error is.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Well, Micaela, I'm happy to have you on voice only, but I would love to see you. I know. I wish I could put a picture of you up. Hold on, let me see if I can. I don't think I can. At least if I can, I don't know how to do that right now. So here's what I would love to do. I'm going to get rid of the blue box, so that just looks silly. So I'm going to put it like this. Let's see if this works. Okay. So I'm just going to talk to Micaela because I really do want to share what you're up to. And then what we'll do, everybody, I'm going to get her picture and we'll put it on the link in the comments. How's that feel?
Sounds good.
because I want to figure this out so we can have you on the screen. But I don't want you to go away tonight without sharing what you're up to. How's that?
That sounds good.
Perfect. All right. So Micaela, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what projects you're working on right now?
Well, so my name is Micaela Passeri. I'm an emotional intelligence coach, and I support entrepreneurial women to identify and release the trapped emotions that are stuck in the subconscious mind so they can be free from the emotional roller coaster of business and life. And, projects, life is a whole project,
I know we met at Movement Makers, and you have a mission that you're working on. Tell me a little about that.
Yeah. So, my mission is to really see a world where people don't have to conform, right? They don't have to conform to what society thinks they should be like, what other people think they should be like, and people can be self-expressed in their truth, so they can really experience their magnificence and their innate being as a spiritual being having a human experience here on planet Earth. And so one of the ways that I support people in doing that is really to help them identify what are the emotional baggages that they've been just holding on, that maybe mentally they think they've worked themselves through, but emotionally that energy, that vibration, that negative low vibration has been holding them hostage. So that's really the mission. The mission is to help people free themselves.
I love it. So tell me, what brought you to this work?
Well, it's really, it's been my own journey. It's my own journey to self-discovery and my own journey to step into my own self-love, self-value, self-confidence, so that I can really know who it is that I am and then bring that out into the world using my gifts. And I had to go, like everybody has a story, right?
Right.
And mine specifically was I had to really experience totally losing everything, myself and my money, everything, to really be able to then rebuild myself. So whether it was betrayal in a relationship where I literally came out feeling used, abused, and just kind of a rag that doesn't need to be used anymore, or a mat that you just step on, right? Came out of that really just thinking, okay, wait a minute, how did I create this in my life? Like, how the hell did I allow somebody to treat me that way, right? And so through that inner questioning and that deep desire to not have that ever happen again, I embarked on my own journey of self-expression and self-love that brought me to the work that I am doing today. Because in the process, I had to unload and unleash all of the emotional baggage that I was holding on, not only from my background and my culture. I was born and raised in Florence, Italy, but also from all of those, failed relationships and experiences that really didn't support me and that entrenched me more in negative self-talk, right? And so it was just really my journey to that and my discovery and finding what really worked. And what I found worked was really releasing and relieving the subconscious mind from that lower emotional vibration that is held in the heart by emotional baggage. And that's what I now dedicate my work to, supporting other women and entrepreneurship. You're an entrepreneur, Leah. You know how it is.
I do. I think this is great. And, I think it actually ties into what Pam was saying too, like that, the idea that we are all uniquely here on purpose, right? Like, so the idea that like, we don't want to be what everybody else is, and what we are is what is a magic about us. And I think that that's such a powerful process for people to get to. So what right now I know that you have done Italy retreats, and I know we have that in common because I stepped from an Italy retreat myself. So tell me,
Cool.
when you take, are you still doing that? And when you
Oh
do,
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
what's that experience like for people? What do they get when they go on retreat with you, Micaela?
Yeah, absolutely. I do 1 or 2 retreats a year in the outskirts of Florence. That's where I was born, in Florence. And it's really a journey to the center of your heart. It's really a place where you can discover your deep truth and learn how to fully stand into it when you get back into your life, right? Because when you go on a retreat, no matter where it is and what it is, you kind of get plucked out of your everyday, right? And you get
Yeah.
put into an absolute container that allows you to really delve deep into, in this case, the heart. We do a lot of interpersonal work. We do a lot of emotional healing. But one of the things that I take people on is a spiritual journey to Assisi, where Saint Francis
Yeah.
walked the streets and
Wow.
preached his mission of love. Well, his message of love and compassion for all beings. And so we go on that journey to really get to that place of love and compassion for ourselves. I say that entrepreneurship is the biggest personal development journey you'll ever go on, because once you decide to be an entrepreneur and be in business for yourself, you have to do certain things to make your business grow. And when you do that, you're confronted with your stuff, and if you don't handle it, it's hard to move forward, right? Because
Right. And the
you
businesses suffer, right? And
yeah,
people,
the business suffer, maybe you suffer, maybe your clients suffer. Everybody suffers, and mainly because you're not sharing your gifts, right? You're not doing what you're meant to do here on this earth. And so that's kind of part of what you end up discovering, is like getting clear on your path and your call, so that you can fully answer it and step into it. And part of it has to be a connection with the universe, God,
Mhm.
source, whatever you believe in, that's bigger than you, that's bigger than life, that is calling you forth to step into a conversation that will allow you to be the best version of yourself.
Absolutely. I love it. So I've got, you don't, you may or may not be able to see this. So I've got your name, of course, because
I see it, yes.
yeah. So tell us about, like, when they go to, because I wanted to share that. So when people know what I'm showing them, this is your website, youreq.info. What will they receive if they go to that site? Is that just a
Yeah, well,
general
that's actually the site where my free offer is.
Awesome. Can you tell us a
My
little about that?
Yeah, my business is Love You Revolution, but at youreq.info, you can get a free download, a free PDF with the 5 emotional intelligence keys to life and business mastery. There are 5 basic things that you want to constantly be present to in your day-to-day life, so that you can really keep opening your heart up, keep opening your mind up, and keep opening yourself up to that greater evolution, that next better version of yourself. And so that's where they can go to get the free PDF, and then obviously connect with me from there.
Perfect. So tell me, speaking of, like, all of us expanding and being the next greatest creation of ourselves, tell me, what is it that the Oracle can help you with as you continue to be the best next expression of yourself in your business?
Yeah, so the question that I kind of thought about asking the Oracle is, I think the biggest issue that I'm having is organization.
Mm.
I feel that I could be a lot more organized, and that I could share more of this work with people if I was that. So I guess the question is, I've been thinking about hiring an assistant and all that. So the question is that really something that I should be doing? Is hiring someone to help me, and in that process, I have to really work on being able to let go of some of the things that I might be afraid of letting go, that are on my to-do list, that then I have to make someone else responsible for, right? And trust that they're going to be able to do it in the same
Right.
way that I would do, right? but that anyway, because I'm not really doing them to the best of my ability, are not really being done well anyway. Therein lies the conundrum.
Right. And so the question I'm hearing is, well, it sounds like two. One, is it time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is there something stopping you from just doing it no matter what, time or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah, because I think it's two things. So yeah, I think that there's, like from my coaching head, it's like, oh yeah, well, there's a way to figure out that like timing. And yet there's still a point where you just kind of have to take the leap, because you're right. You get to a place where you're stretched too thin and you're not able to do the work the way you'd want to. That's definitely an indicator. On the other side of it, what I really heard in the Oracle was pointing out was why I think there was two questions there, is that it's a bit of you letting go of the idea that no one else can do it as good as you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that different, having it be done differently doesn't mean it's being done poorly.
Mm-hmm.
And also in a piece of this is, and this might be a little bit harder to hear, but it's coming through that if you let these things go, you're going to have to do other things, right? So
yes. And I know exactly what, and I know
freeing
exactly
it up
what
means that you don't have any excuse anymore for something else.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I get that, because that's kind of actually what's been coming up, is really taking a look at, what's been stopping me to actually put myself out there in a bigger way, more public way. And yes, you're right. After that, I won't have any excuses for not doing it. So I have to fully commit.
Yeah, right. And it's true. Like those are two layers of commitment. Like the commitment of having someone take over work there's a commitment of having them there and being responsible for, giving them work to do and paying them. And that means your business has to keep moving and being able to afford that and put that in as part of your investments for your business. And yeah, you have to then take that energy you were spending there and put it somewhere else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And somewhere else which will support the mission.
Which is going to push you beyond some comfort zones.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. I think that the comfort zone piece, it's kind of so those of you who've watched the show before, that the Oracle can get a little cheeky. And she's like, and that's where you need to be. So there's always going to be a new level, new comfort zone, new edge. And if you really want to get there, you have to go there. Like there's not a chance for anyone else to do it but you. And you really have to ask yourself right now, are you going to do this or not? Like literally there's like a line in the sand on this internally for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And either there's no wrong answer, but it needs to be answered.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, I agree. It's in line with just the the ahas that have been coming to me in the last few days, and just the next consideration that I'm in for the next phase of my business.
Yeah. Right. You have a tremendous amount to offer the world. You're not going to not offer it. It's just if you choose, you're just at a point of choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's how big I want to offer it.
Right. Exactly.
How big do I want to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and just to share, because I know there's probably a lot of entrepreneurs on this call, and
definitely
the conversation that I've had in the last couple of days has really been like, so like, am I willing to give my life for this? And I'm not necessarily, well, it came from a place of fear of losing my life, fear of death, right? Fear of being attacked or ridiculed, or any of those things. So it's kind of like a death, right? It's an ego death, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
So then that brought up the question. It's like, okay, wait a minute. That's what's been stopping me, right? Up until now, I haven't been willing to give my life
Mm-hmm.
for
Right. Well, I
for the
mean,
mission. So
yeah.
that's
Well,
where that's
I
my
think
cross point.
yeah, there might be something in there in regards to, is there a piece of the mission? Is there a piece of the puzzle to the mission that isn't quite aligned yet for you to really do that?
Right.
Is there something missing? Not to toot my own horn, but you might want to check out the challenge next week, because that might help you. It's a simple tool, and it might reveal some of that. But honestly, I think that for you, what I get is a sense that it's time to decide, and part of that decision process may lie in understanding that it has. There's a part of you that says it has to be 100% in you, like it has to be aligned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or it can't be. It can't be a yes, and yet it can't be a no, because you're so far, you're so close to that alignment that there's just something off. And so, if you can figure out what that something off is, then you can know, and you can move forward. So I don't know.
Well,
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's the commitment level, and the come from is like, what am I willing to give up? That's the conversation, is what am I willing to give up? And so that's where I have to sit and think, what am I willing to give up, and how far do I want to take it? That's really the conversation.
Yeah. And once you choose, then the beautiful thing that I'm seeing is, once you choose, the rest, not easy, I'm not gonna say easy, the rest becomes clearer. Like you'll have an intensity of clarity that's like, like I get it. Like it's just on that other side of making that. It's like you're turning a corner, a blind corner. Right. But on the other side, it's going to be like, oh, of course. Like it makes perfect sense now.
Yes.
Okay. Does that help?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. It's just confirmation of, yes, confirmation for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely want you to come back so we can see all of your beautiful face next time and share more. Yeah. So like maybe come back for a check-in in a few weeks and tell us, how things progressed after you had this thought and this process kind of deepening and this validation. See if some of that has shifted, because I'd love to hear.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much for
thank you.
Even though you were having challenges. And again, for everybody who's watching, you can learn more about Micaela at her website. You can take a quiz, so you can kind of get more information for yourself at youreq.info, and that's just below us here. And I will, as I promised, have my assistant make sure we get a picture of you up inside the comments so people know who is talking. And for everybody else who's watching, I don't see any other questions tonight, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up for tonight. But as a reminder, you can always come back on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. and find out what else is going on good in the world with all of our great guests that are coming. And if you want to be a guest, remember, the link is there to be a guest as well. So thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for watching the replay. Thank you, Micaela, for being here. Thank you, Pam, for being here. And I will see you all next time on Oracle Live TV. I'm Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose. And remember, you are here on purpose. All righty.